Ahmednagar Fort, 1595. The wind howled over the ramparts as war drums thundered in the distance. Black banners of the Mughal Empire crept over the horizon like a storm. Inside the ancient fort, the court was in chaos. Nobles argued, soldiers panicked. The city was leaderless, but above the din of fear, one voice rang out like a clarion bell. Hold the gates, rally the troops, I will lead you. Wrapped in steel and fire, Chand Bibi, Queen Regent of Ahmednagar, mounted her stallion and cantered into legend, right into the womb of the fire, right into the belly of the beast. Born in 1550, Chand Bibi was the daughter of Hussain Nizam Shah I of the Ahmednagar Sultanate, one of the 5 powerful Deccan kingdoms. At a young age, she was married into the royal house of Bijapur, becoming queen to Sultan Ali Adil Shah I. But even in the courts of Bijapur, Chand Bibi's mind stood out. Fluent in Persian, Arabic, Turkish and Kannada, she was a polymath, musician, poet, diplomat and a tactician. After her husband's death, she returned to Ahmednagar. But by the time she reached Ahmednagar, her kingdom was already under pressure from the ever-expanding Mughal Empire. In 1595, tragedy struck. Burhan Nizam Shah II, Sultan of Ahmednagar, and Chand Bibi's brother died suddenly. His death left the throne to a child, his son Bahadur Shah, and the Mughals saw their opportunity. Akbar the Great, already expanding his empire southward, dispatched a formidable force under Prince Murad to seize the weakened sultanate. It wasn't just a victory they were after, they demanded surrender. And with a child king on the throne and the nobility split into factions, all seemed lost, except for one, except for Chand Bibi. She stood beside her shivering kingdom and roared, "If no one among you will protect the soil, then I will hold the sword," she said. The Mughals laid siege to the fort. Cannon fire shattered walls, and the war went on and on with no end in sight. But Chand Bibi was tireless. She took charge of every defense, riding along the walls, organizing counterattacks, directing engineers to reinforce broken ramparts. She even personally led small bands of soldiers at night to burn Mughal supply lines and sabotage their siege engines. Under her leadership, the defenders fought like lions. When the siege dragged on, the city reached the edge of starvation. The food supply dwindled. Weakness and weariness spread like a curse among the warriors. Disease began to spread within. Soon the will of her kingdom was at its breaking point. And in that moment, Chand Bibi did what no one dared. She negotiated with the Mughals directly. She sent envoys to Prince Murad, offering a truce. Bahadur Shah would remain Sultan, but would acknowledge Mughals' sovereignty. It was a tactical move, a stall for time, and it worked. The siege lifted. The Mughals withdrew temporarily, fooled into believing they had secured control. But Chand Bibi, behind her diplomatic smile, continued to fortify the kingdom, raised new troops, and forged secret alliances with neighboring Deccan states like Bijapur and Golconda. But her success was short-lived. News of her newfound vigor unsettled the Mughal emperors, and by 1599, the storm returned with greater fury. This time, Prince Daniel, son of Akbar, led the Mughal army, joined by the fierce general Mirza Yusuf Khan. The siege of Ahmednagar began anew, longer, harsher, and more relentless than before. Chand Bibi, now in her late 40s, once again took command of the fort's defenses. For 4 grueling months and 4 days, she held the enemy at bay. Supplies ran low, morale thinned, the walls were battered, yet she remained unyielding, rallying for weary soldiers, treating the wounded, and plotting countermoves. But even she knew the inevitable. Realizing the fort could not withstand another full-scale assault, Chand Bibi sought to negotiate terms of honorable surrender with Prince Daniel, hoping to spare her people from massacre. But within her own court, ambition and suspicion festered. Hamid Khan, a nobleman jealous of her authority, spread the false rumor that Chand Bibi was secretly conspiring with the Mughals. The lie he spewed spread like a wildfire across her kingdom. People rose in anger. Her own army men, fueled by paranoia, incited the garrison to attack their own queen. She would sell our fort to the Mughals, they cried. And in a violent frenzy, the soldiers stormed her chambers. There was no trial, no chance to explain. The queen who had saved the kingdom twice was cut down by her own defenders, slain by the very hands she had led and protected. On 18th August 1600, with your greatest defender dead and no one left to lead, Ahmednagar fell to the Mughals. The fort was breached, the city surrendered, the Deccan lost one of its brightest flames. History weeps at Chand Bibi's end, not only for the tragedy of her unjust death, but for the bitter irony. She was slain for attempting to save her people one last time. But death did not silence her legacy. She is remembered as a queen who commanded armies, broke courtly norms, battled the greatest empire of her age, and faced betrayal with dignity. Her story lives on, not in defeat, but in defiance.